Okay, we are back. We are ready to take the NBA playoffs on, and joining us from the West Coast
West
is
Side.
my best friend Carter Saunders, a huge NBA fan. Always has great knowledge of what he's seen and always has great takes. So, welcome Carter to the podcast.
Dougie, thanks for having me, man. It's good to talk to you. You're up late per usual.
Hey
Burning the
man,
midnight oil, man.
night owl over here on the East Coast, and this is like this. I'm hyped. I'm ready to do this thing. We got a great playoffs. We have a fun little draft that me and Carter are gonna do. It's gonna be a little competition. Me and Carter love competing, so you guys can follow along during the playoffs and see who is gonna win this little NBA draft team competition. I'll explain that in a second. But before we get to that, I just want to explain the NBA matchups. They're pretty much set. We have the playing game. This will all start tomorrow. So first on the East, we will have Cleveland and Boston waiting the playing games. The playing games on the East will be Orlando versus Atlanta in the 7-8 seed respectively, and Chicago versus Miami in the 9-10. For reminders, if you win the 7 and 8, you're automatically the 7 seed. If you lose that 7-8 matchup between Orlando and Atlanta, they will play the winner of Chicago Miami. And then in the 3-6, we have the New York Knicks versus the Pistons. And in the 4-5, we have the Pacers versus the Bucks, a rematch from last year. In the West, the top two seeds is OKC, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Houston Rockets as the 2 seed. And then in the play-ins, we have Golden State as the 7 seed versus Memphis, and Sacramento in the 9 seed versus Dallas snuck in at the 10 seed. On the 3-6 matchup, we have the Lakers versus Minnesota. And then in the 4-5, we have a tasty matchup between the Nuggets and the LA Clippers.
Hasty
So before we get
indeed.
to the draft, yeah, anything that jumps off the page for you, Carter, in terms of these matchups?
Dude, I love these matchups. I mean, throw away all the playing games, whatever. I'm not in on these this year. I think the playing teams are not very good this year. But these matchups are juicy, and especially with all everything that's gone down over the last few weeks. I mean, you've got Mike Malone getting canned, and then you've got a hot Clippers
Crazy.
team. Crazy, crazy that this doesn't happen. And then, I
I
love
mean,
I
we've had
love
not just
rematches.
Mike Malone. I mean, not just Mike Malone. We have two NBA playoff teams that have just fired their coaches. I mean,
Totally.
what's your take on that? What's your take on that?
Well, I mean, there was clearly some dysfunction all around, right? And I haven't done as much reading on it as I should, but it sounds like this had been burning for a while, bubbling up, and it was just one of those things where it just came to a head, and it's like, you know what? Let's just get rid of this, start anew. We're clearly kind of in some sort of malaise and funk here. Let's try to spice things up, and maybe we'll make a run, maybe not, but. At least
Yeah,
they
I
couldn't
mean,
keep going the way they were going.
you know what it was like? It was like so again, to kind of pick up where Carter, was mentioning is, there was a big rift between the GM and Mike Malone. The GM Keith Booth, and I believe this has been going on for a couple years.
Yeah,
Booth has been
totally.
wanting to infuse young talent, and Malone's like, wait a minute, we have the best player in the world. Why are we trying to like win 5 years from now? We need to win now. Give me veterans, give me guys that can win an NBA championship now, not guys that are gonna be have potential in 3 years. I'm not gonna give them playing time. I'm trying to win a championship with literally one of the top 15 players of all time. So I understand Mike Malone's point of view. But it's what it's like mommy and daddy are fighting at the dinner table and all the kids are just like what are we doing? Like how are we
We
gonna
have to
play
sit here.
basketball? Like, yeah, do we have to sit here still? How are we gonna get through dinner? And I think someone just came and was like, you know what? We're getting all these players new parents because we can't sit through dinner like this. There's my
We need some
Colin
foster parents.
Cowherd. There's my Colin Cowherd metaphor right there for you.
I like where you were
So
going with
yeah,
it.
yeah, so I think and they've been playing way better since the firing. So who knows? Maybe this jump starts them a little bit. All right, so yeah, that's a good observation. Anything else that jumps out in terms of any of the matchups that look a little spicy for you?
I mean, rematches are fun, right?
Yeah.
Pacers Bucks. I think that's particularly fun. I think the Pacers, I mean, so it's kind of roles are reversed a little bit, right? Pacers were a little bit of the upstart team last year, a little bit of a surprise in beating the Bucks, and now kind of roles are reversed. Bucks, it's just Giannis versus the world, and Pacers have a really fun offense, and I think I personally I think the odds say the Pacers are favored, right? But who knows, man? You can't count can't count out Giannis, and so I think that's particularly interesting. But I could honestly go through almost every single matchup and find something that at least I find intriguing. So this is just a fun
Yeah,
playoffs this year.
yeah. I mean, I think it's. I mean, outside of the Eastern Conference 1 and 2 matchups, whoever they're going to be, I even think outside of those, I think every matchup's it's gonna there's gonna be no sweeps, at least that I think of. Besides those, I mean, you can make a case. Actually, I take that back. OKC and whoever comes out, I think we'll get to this later, but I think even a Golden State in the play-in,
Yeah, and
whoever's playing
I
Golden State
discounted
first
them.
round, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, and which I think is gonna be interesting when we go through these teams and who we're picking. It's gonna be interesting to see your take on some of these teams, and why you're taking them, and to go with that. This is what we're gonna do. Okay, we are gonna draft teams, and we're gonna calculate points, almost like a bracket style March Madness bracket. Um, and you will get points based on the seed number that they exist. So, for instance, Denver's a 4 seed, so every time they win a round, they get 4 points. Plus, Carter, this is a surprise to you.
Uh-oh.
We are also taking a point for each round. So the first round wins will get 1 bonus point. Second round wins, you get 2 bonus points. Third round is 3 bonus points, and obviously the final is 4 points, right? So OKC, you know, they're a 1 seed, so that's a one point. But if you think they're going to go to the championship, they can keep racking up points more and more as they advance. So there is some strategy involved in why you might want to take a 1 or 2 seed because they might go further. But this is why this is a little strategic. You want to find which teams you might go a little bit far, but you also just don't want to go chalk and try to get some bonus points based on the lower seeds. So with that being said, we'll go. We'll do a snake draft. Do you want first or second?
Snake draft. All right. You know
So
what?
yeah.
We'll give you the honors to kick it off. And then I'll
Whoa.
hit the 2-3. So I don't know if you're
All
ready
right.
for it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. All right. For my number one pick, I will be taking the Golden State Warriors. So as a
I love it.
7 seed, baby, I can't stay away from Steph. I cannot. He's the love of your life that you just can't break up from. You never lose your love for them. And I think they've been terrific, terrific since Jimmy Butler's come onto the team. And so I think they have the pedigree. I think they figured some things out. End of games, he gives them some options that they didn't have before. They have a guy who can create on his own. Again, outside of Curry, they didn't have anything outside of that. We all know my man, playoff Jimmy. He comes
Your
alive. He
man's.
comes alive. Every playoffs, everyone thinks he's, over the hill or not having a great regular season. He turns into a new man when it comes to playoff season. So I think he's been revitalized. He's re-energized. And as a 7 seed, I see them beating Memphis. Um, so I see them in that first round matchup taking Houston. How many playoff rounds has that Houston team won?
Yeah, a whole lot of
I'll
none.
give you a hint. Under one. That nucleus hasn't seen a first round matchup. So we talk about how playoff basketball turns up. It gets a little bit more physical. Every possession matters a little bit more. I'm not sure that rookie Houston team. I don't think they're ready. This will be a taste for them. I see them being more of a contender next year, and I think this is a good spot for Golden State to come out of that first round. And then who awaits them potentially? The LA Lakers. And
The
LA Lakers,
Lakers.
they like to play small. You
They
guess who
do like to
also
play
likes to play
small.
small? Guess who also knows how to play small? The Golden State
Your
Warriors.
Dubs.
They They do. They love playing small. And guess what? Who's probably better than anyone playing small? The Golden State Warriors. I think they played a couple weeks ago, and Warriors took it to them. So I like Golden State's chances of kind of moving along here. So I'm gonna my it's a long answer to why I'm taking them first, but I think it was due, and I'm taking the Warriors and as my first round pick. Take
I love
your
it.
thoughts.
I love it. You know what? That's the perfect way to start a draft, if we're being honest here. It's easy to go chalk, and maybe I
Yep.
will. But I love coming spicy out of the gate. And you know what? I totally agree with your takes on if they can get people are discounting the Rockets. And I think for a lot of good reason. Who are you going to give the ball in the clutch when, it's game five, game six, within a couple points? What are you going to give it to Jalen Green? Are you going to give it to FVV? Who are you going to give it to? Who's going to get you the bucket?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you have the all-time shooter on the other side who, if you remember, last summer, killer in the Olympics, all-time moment, Mr. Clutch. I mean, yeah, maybe the Rockets will surprise us, but I would be surprised if they do. And then you're right. I mean, if the Lakers do end up beating the T-Wolves, man, that's a good matchup for Golden State. It's a good matchup. So sleeper Western Conference Finals, and you know what? That's really good value.
Hey,
So
I just have to say this because I think you might have heard me say this before, but the podcast listeners out there need to hear it because I think it's the best way to describe when you're watching Steph Curry. So there's a lot of people who like take shots and you're like, no way. And then you're totally shocked it went in. You're like, no way, I can't believe he hit that. Steph Curry, it's you're shocked that he took it, but then when it goes in, you're like, of course it went in. You're not even shocked. You're like it's the opposite of these crazy shots. You're like that. It is kind of reversal because you've seen it do it over and over again. You're like, no way he's shooting that. He's shooting it. Of course it went in. Like I'm not even shocked anymore.
when he misses, you're
So
disappointed. That's
yeah.
honestly what happens.
So
He misses, you're like, that doesn't happen.
yeah.
This dude hits clutch shots,
Yep.
man. So I'm with you. I'm
Yep.
with you.
So all right.
So good pick. Good
So
pick.
you got two picks. Yeah, you
So I have
got two
two picks.
picks,
I have two
and then
picks.
I'll get
So
two.
so you know what I'm going to do here. I liked your pick coming out of the gate, but why not go with a value pick? And it's one of the favorites. It's one of the front runners. You got to go with the Celtics, man, at the two seed.
Mm.
First of
Yep.
all, first of all, you've got defending champs. They've been there. They've done that. Second of all, they have their entire team back. So, this is not like they have some new roster that's never done this together. They've all done it together. Third, they're healthy. They're healthy. Porzingis, they were playing this perfectly just so they could time it right, so he could come back for the playoffs, and they could all be healthy and ready to fire on all cylinders. So, regardless of who comes out of the play-in, in my opinion, it's not going to matter. It'll be light work for them. Maybe it'll get to five, probably a sweep. Uh, and
Yep.
so then you start looking at the second round, and the Knicks are the favorites to beat the Pistons for good reason. But the Knicks, I mean, this is Tibbs. Tibbs has three, I think, of the top 10 minutes players on his team, and so he just drives his players into the ground. And
Is it,
when it comes playoff
is that
time,
gonna come down to is that gonna bite him? Is that gonna bite him?
it
I don't
always
know.
does,
We'll see.
man. Second round Tibbs. He's second in out every year. And
Second.
so, I mean, I just kind of see this being a repeat of that. And so,
Okay.
you could put in Penn. The Celtics are going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. And many people
In
think you could put
pen.
in Penn. Many people
In
think you could
pen.
put in Penn. They can be in the NBA
Get the
Finals.
get the
But
Sharpie out.
they're the perfect combination of shooting, unselfishness, and defense. I mean, they're top. What are they? I think they're number two net. I think they're top five or maybe even top three, maybe top four in both offense and defense. But regardless, I mean, they're clearly one of the best teams on both sides of the ball. They've got star power in Tatum. They've got, Batman Robin with just any given night. It could be Jalen Brown being the Batman, or it could be Tatum being the Batman. And then, they've got two of the best perimeter defenders out there, Drew, my boy D White. Shout out to the Spurs. I'm a Spurs fan. Uh, we'll get him
Yeah.
next year, Wemby. And then you've got Porzingis anchoring in Horford, who just won't go away, man. Al Horford is that perfect piece that to complement in Porzingis and really give you the and stretch the D and give you the big minutes. So I don't know. Celtics seemed like a pretty easy pick, but just given the format, man, I had to do it.
So I like the pick. I think it's a that was next on my big board. I like the pick. Like you said, they're third in net rating in the league right now. They have the experience. They have all the pieces. They can play you any way you want it, big, small. NBA, we've seen teams throughout the years have like 2 year spells, 2 or 3 years, whether the Kings on the top, before a new team upseats them in their conference. A lot of people are looking at Cleveland. I think Boston has another year in them, so I like it. Now, with that being said, just something for you to keep you up at night tonight, Carter.
Little tease.
Boston, little. Maybe we shouldn't put them in pen. We'll see. Their team shooting percentage. Where do you think they're ranked in the league?
Shooting percentage, well, they chuck a million threes, so probably middle of the road.
Yeah, yeah. Try 19th.
It's
19th.
not middle.
So they get a little chuck happy, and if they go cold for a series, that's a recipe for them how they're gonna get a early bounce here. So just something to look at, something to not be too confident, so confident in this team. But yeah, I like the pick. I think it's a no-brainer. So pick your second pick is
So my second pick, I got to go to the west side of the bracket. And
okay.
as much as this pains me to do, I still think this is kind of value. Plus, this will bust a bracket pretty quickly if I get this wrong or you get yours wrong. I gotta go with the Lakers, man. Gotta go with the arch rivals of the Celtics. I gotta go with the
Mm.
Lakers. And it hurts me to say this. And so part of this is I put on my tinfoil hat when I look at the NBA sometimes. And, don't get me
Uh-oh.
started on the trade.
Tinfoil hat Carter coming out.
Don't get me started on the trade, man,
Tinfoil
because
hat
that
Carter.
is, I love the NBA, but this is part of my NBA rigged moment with the Luka trade. So, anyways, the NBA wants the Lakers to be and go as far as they can go in the playoffs. I mean, if they could get a Celtics Lakers finals, I mean, they would do that every year if they could. And I truly think the Lakers do have a path if things break the right way for them. And I do potentially see things breaking the right way for them. Their first matchup against the Timberwolves, obviously that is not that's no shoe-in, that's no pushover. But you have two of the top five playmakers of all time on your team. One who's not even in his prime, but entering his prime, and the other that, many people consider the GOAT. I consider the BOAT best of all time. I think you're probably on the same page. Not the GOAT. MJ's our GOAT. But but you've got a combination of LeBron and Luca on a squad. And yeah, I don't care that they can't really play defense. They're two of the smartest players in the league of all time. And so these guys are going to figure out how to pass their way, to score their way, to conserve energy, um, to be able to take it to the T-Wolves. And I don't know if you think back to there's an iconic moment, and Lucas I think referenced this before, of him getting an ISO with Gobert, just pulling him out to the perimeter, and him just cooking him. And I think you're going to see that over and over and over again in this series. Ant is the man. Ant is about in terms of his killer mindset, he's about as close to MJ as we've gotten. But I mean, it's just they're just stacked up against a juggernaut. Plus, I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen Austin Reeves since the trade went down. He went from averaging, I think, about 18 points to up over
Baller.
22. He is a baller, man. He is a baller. And so, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
the,
You know who would mess it up for everyone? You know who would mess it up for everyone? Your Spurs. How do
my
they not
Spurs
sign
did.
on this offseason?
Well, my Spurs messed up a couple things. My Spurs messed up the Warriors being in the play-in with that Harrison Barnes buzzer beater to send them from possibly being the 4 seed or maybe even the 3 seed to the play-in. That was a perfect revenge. But yeah, my
Unbelievable.
Spurs, I mean, they should have signed Austin Reeves. It makes no sense. And or how about you just throw Austin Reeves in a trade for Luka Doncic? You can't get Austin Reeves as part of that trade. That makes no sense. But
Which
here's the
is
thing.
all 1 second. This all leads into why this is a good pick. It's the NBA does whatever they can to help the Lakers. So
That's what
this
I'm
all
saying,
goes
man.
into that. So I like the pick. All right. So you have the Lakers and the Celtics. All right. I like the picks. Um,
Little
I,
chalky.
I did not have the Lakers just because my next pick is the team taking on the LA Lakers, the Minnesota Timberwolves as the 6 seed.
I like it. That's what we call
Um,
value.
some might say me taking a 7 and a 6 seed first 2 picks is a little crazy, a little optimistic, but let me give you why Minnesota. Okay, there are 6 teams. I mean, there are 6 teams, 3 on the East, 3 on the West, that are top 6 in the league in their conference in both points per game and opponents' points per game. Okay, your Celtics was one of them on the East, so great pick there. The Timberwolves are the one of 3 West Conference teams that are top 6 in the West in both points per game and opponents' points per game. So they can play offense, they can play defense, they can play big. They got length on the perimeter. As these NBA playoffs, the possessions get slower and more physical. We saw what they did to the Nuggets last year. I think they were worn out by the time they got to the Mavs series, but in the first round, they're going to be ready to go. They are 8-2 in the last 10. They are fourth in NBA net rating.
Oh,
This team, and guess who's going to be the darling first round pick that everyone's going to be betting on? The LA Lakers. So they're going to be they're a team that I think has a potential to take on these Lakers. Now again, there's a reason why the Lakers are a 3 seed. They got two of the greatest basketball minds in the league, and it's just gonna be hard to contain those guys. They're always gonna make the right play. So I know this is a little bit of a pull, but the way they've been playing in their last 10, again, being a good offensive and a defensive team, I like what I'm getting there as a 6 seed. Quick thoughts. Any feedback on that one?
well, here's the thing. I mean, if they upset the Lakers, you're looking pretty good in this bracket already, my friend. And then you're almost playing with house money if your Warriors can beat the Rockets. So
Yeah,
no, I do like that, and because I don't feel necessarily amazing about the Lakers, but I thought, I think they'll probably be able to get by the T Wolves, and then I I like how they match up against, either the Rockets or, I mean, we keep assuming that it's going to just be the Warriors. Although, I learned something today. The Warriors or Steph is 0-3 in playing games. So it is not
yeah,
a foregone conclusion that he's going to win this first playing
bro.
game.
You know, Rory McIlroy was 0 for 1,000 again in the Masters, and he won this weekend. So maybe some streaks are meant to be broken.
Yeah. So I don't know. I like it. The Randall's actually playing much better over the last month or so. Uh, Gobert still a great defender. And hustles even though he's one of the least likable players in the NBA for whatever reason. And I mean when you got Ant-Man, you got a chance. So no, I like the value.
Yeah, and again, like I said, they're fourth in net rating. Lakers are 14th. Now, it's good strategy and also bad strategy. If the Warriors and Minnesota play together, one team's definitely going to be eliminated of mine in the second round. So, I don't know. Chalk get some points while I can, I guess. And then I had a lot of. I am struggling with this next pick, and what I think I'm going to do is just sometimes we want the things that we can't have, and we're just always trying to strive for maybe that next tier of, whatever it is. I'm just gonna take what's given to me. Just take what's given to me. Take the easy money, and that's the OKC Thunder. Just take them. They've been the best team in
I was
basketball.
waiting
I'm gonna
for
take
it.
them. I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna get them to the finals. I think they're going to the finals. So I'm getting 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 every time they advance. So like I said, take the money while I can get them. And I'm just going with OKC. We all know they've been amazing both offensively, defensively. They really don't have a weakness. So, I mean, what do you think their biggest weakness is?
Um, their age,
Yeah, yeah,
inexperience
yeah.
in some ways. It's one thing to be awesome in the regular season, but you go to the playoffs, you get in these tight moments, and if you don't have the veterans that have been there, done that, that's scary. So a little bit of an unknown, but I mean, uh, on paper, I don't see much of a weakness, man.
Yeah, the only thing that will keep me up at night with this pick is what you just mentioned, and I think if SGA has a bad shooting, couple games, w will those secondary scoring guys, especially as the Browns get later, do those secondary scorers, do they have the pizzazz, the confidence to step up in that moment when SGA is not on? Now, the SGA's been on all year, so who's to
True.
say that he will have a couple of those games? But if he does, will Chet, step up? Will Jalen step up? That's what's going to keep me a little bit if people game plan around SGA. So we'll see. Um, so I have Warriors, Minnesota, OKC so far. You have the Celtics and Lakers. You have two picks now. Um, all yours.
So I might get a little spicy here, and
Ooh, four
I
points.
li- I like to live. I like to live in a world of what ifs, right?
Mm.
Sometimes, when you're playing these games, and so uh, what if Kawhi Leonard is healthy? What if?
That's a big one.
Well, yeah, it is a big what if. It is a big what if. What if James Harden forgets all of his playoff mishaps over the years, his issues, his inabilities, and he turns into veteran Harden, who makes the right passes, makes the right plays. They've got Zubac, who maybe is a dark horse for third team All NBA for the center position, playing out of his mind this year. He's had like 15 or something double doubles over the last his 15 games in a row. So I mean, and then they've got dudes who fill in the gaps and can score. Uh, like they've got Norman Powell. He can get you a bucket when you need him to. They've got some other pieces too, like Batum, who, he's been in big moments, French national team guy who's been to these big games, and has helped teams win. So my thing is the Nuggets have there's a lot of turmoil there, clearly. Yes, they have the best player in the world, and you don't really bet against the best player in the world, but I think the Clippers have a better team than the Nuggets. The Nuggets have an extremely shallow bench. Outside of Murray, outside of Jokic, outside of MPJ, they don't have much. And this is what we talked about earlier. Right? They did not. They've invested in just a bunch of young dudes, and Christian Brown stepped up this year, but their bench is really weak. And if the Clippers can figure out a game plan uh, to limit, you're never going to shut down Jokic, but to limit him, the other guys are going to have to step up. And Murray is so hit or miss, so hit or miss. And so, I mean, almost all their players outside of them are Jokic is very hit or miss. And can he really drag them after this season, through multiple rounds? I don't know. I think the Clippers could sneak up on them, surprise them, just kind of given what's happening now. Plus, they're a 5 seed. I'll take some extra points if they do happen to get an upset. And you know what? Nobody's even really thinking about the Thunder potentially getting upset, but why not the Clippers? The Clippers have some of the pieces to be able to go toe to toe with them. And so, that I wanted to shake things up a little bit. Going chalk's
Uh,
not super fun in these,
uh,
so
yeah, well, a truly healthy Leonard is scary. It's scary,
totally.
and we've seen that. We've seen that uh, in the last month. I mean, the Clippers have won 8 in a row. They've won 8 in a row. They're
The
eight
man
and two in
can't
their last
miss.
10. They've won 8 in a row. They're fifth in net rating. I mean, the Clippers are sneaking up. I think they're sneaking up, and they're dangerous, and they're ready to go. They have great coaching. Tyronn Lue's a great coach, which I don't think gets talked enough when we go into these matchups. It's all about coaching, about who's been there, who can make the adjustments, and Tyronn Lue can do that. He's a championship coach, so I like the pick, but there's a big but. There's two big buts.
There's a few big
Two,
butts.
two big butts. I like big butts, and I cannot lie. There's two big butts, and there's James Harden still on the team. When you said, what if he goes on this run? What if he forgets that Leonard's on his team? What if he realizes a party going out in Vegas that he's rather go to? I mean, there's a lot of what ifs with James Harden, and his playoffs career is a big what if. So that's a big what if. And then Leonard, I don't want to jinx him, but that dude, you're always holding your breath every time he comes down on whether he's going to get injured again. So there's a lot of upside there. There's also it could end in a flash. So and they're going against you know the best player in basketball, which is always a tough series to go against. So cool. I like the pick low. What's next? Second pick.
So we gotta jump back east. And this you got to think about who you feel good about winning a series, and I feel good about the Knicks winning a series. I mean, the Pistons feel good, extremely feel good story. You get rid of possibly the worst coach of all time, Monty Williams, and you replace him with a dude who was fired by the Cavs, JB Bickerstaff, and they went, mind you, 14 and 64 last year, and now they are the number 6 seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs. So, feel good story, but their story ends here. The Knicks, their five is pound for pound one of the best fives in the NBA. You've got, I mean, when Brunson's healthy, and I think he's healthy, you've got Cat who can stretch, he can play D, he can score with some of the best of them. And then, you've got some perimeter defenders, Bridges, OG, and then Mitchell Robinson is back. Mitchell Robinson is back. So I don't know. I think they should pretty easily take care of the Pistons.
Yeah. It's it's
It's feel good,
yeah.
but
It's you get an easy round one, not an easy, but you get a round one win most likely. And Brunson's a great point guard who's shown he can do it in the clutch, in the playoffs. And I got to give some love to my man Towns because I have not been a fan of Towns for a long time. Dude's balling.
I
Dude's
he's
balling
balling,
this
man.
year.
The man
Dude
is
I
balling.
have to give him his due. He's beefed up a little bit. I saw him live. I mean, that dude. He shocked me this year, um, and so he's firing on all cylinders. So it's a good pick. They're dangerous. They're
The
dangerous.
man can cook. And one more point, mind you, in the playoffs, sure, Tibbs has driven his players into the ground during the regular season, but in the playoffs, you get rest in between games. You get ample time to be able to rest, during a series, and particularly if you're able to make light work of a matchup, then you get extra rest while you're gearing up for the next round here. So that's kind of what I expect them to do against the Pistons. Um, I don't expect them to beat the Celtics, but who knows? Stranger things have happened.
Yep.
And if you get them cooking and you've got some lockdown D, you get some weird, I don't know, maybe you get some lower scoring games. You talked about it earlier. Maybe the Celtics can't find the
Yeah.
basket.
They bring
I
him
don't
into the
know.
mud. If the Knicks bring
Yeah,
him
you
into the
muck
mud,
it up. You muck it up a
yeah,
little
bring
bit.
bring him into the mud. Yeah,
So
I like
I
it.
don't
Well,
know.
you know, what? to your point, we go back to this stat, which I mean I really like, but we go back to there's three teams in the East who are top six in the East in both points per game and opponents per game. Knicks is one of them. Knicks are one of the three, believe
There
it or
you
not.
go.
So there you go. You got to pick there, but again, um, you know, it's a good pick. It's a solid pick. They have people on the team. They have a good coach. So yeah, I don't hate it. Now my turn. Where do I go from here? So again, I have the Celtics, Lake. No, you. I have the Warriors, the Timberwolves, and the Thunder.
Yep.
This is going to get interesting because I want to take one of these two teams, and I don't know who's going to. I honestly don't know who's going to win this matchup. The stats right now favor the Bucks. The stats favor the Bucks. The Bucks are playing well. They they're they're 8-2 in the last 10. They've won 8 in a row. They are 10-4 since Lillard has actually been out. And those four losses have also came within the first 5 games that he was out. So after they figured out what they were going to do with, after it took them a few games, they've rattled off 8 in a row, including um, against a Western Conference playoff team, and I believe it was the Clippers. So no, it might have been the Rockets. I have to go back and look that up. But they played a really good game against a really good playoff Western team. So all the stats point that way. But I'm taking Indiana. I'm
I
taking the
knew it.
Pacers.
I knew
I'm
it.
taking the
The
Pacers.
bait and the
I
old bait
love
and switch.
Halliburton. Why did you know I was gonna pick?
I knew it. It was a setup, man.
It was a setup.
I know you
Um,
too
I'm
well.
I'm taking the Pacers. I think Pacers, no one talks about them because they're the Indiana Pacers. They're not flashy. Um, Halliburton is a steady guard. Um, I am worried about him defensively, but he gets it done. He's played in big moments in big playoff games. I think a couple things go the right way in that Celtics series last year, and they might win that series. There was a buzzer beater by Jaylen Brown. There was a couple calls down the stretch. That series was tighter than the final series count was.
I agree.
Carlisle, I think Carlisle, he's been there. Talk about coaching. I mean, talk about a coach that I think is underrated in the league by people who are just casual fans. I think people in the league respect him, but the casual fan really they don't
Yeah.
really talk about it. Carlisle is one of them. So. Um, I'm gonna take Indiana. They're the home dog. I see the series maybe going 7. I think the home advantage might be what saves them in game 7. So, but I'm scared. I'm scared. Giannis is looking like Giannis. Giannis can win a couple series, is more than, let alone just one. But I'm taking the home dog. I see this series going 7, um, and so I'm taking the 4 seed Indiana.
Yeah, we'll see, man. If Dame's not healthy, it might not be as difficult. And I know they've been on a little tear since he's been out, but it's different in the playoffs when you see the same team, for an entire series. You can really start game planning around a team. And if Dame's not back, Giannis has big shoulders, but I don't know if they're that big.
They are massive though. And it's just interesting. I wonder what the film looks like, but with Lillard being gone, I wonder if Giannis just went back to being Giannis instead of maybe deferring, maybe in his head
Mm,
about, I need to give Lillard going. He might back to his old self where he's just like, I'm just gonna dominate and I don't care if I take every shot. So that's gonna be something to keep an eye on if he just plays back to that, 2023, 22, season of Milwaukee. So will be interesting. So that's my first pick.
you mean he doesn't trust Kyle Kuzma?
Would you?
No.
I,
Oh
I would
man.
I wouldn't Kyle Kuzma with a lot of things in life, let alone to
Uh,
get me past the first round matchup. Um, just looking at what he wears to games, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
he's an
among
interesting
other
guy.
things.
Yeah. Watch him as a Wizards fan. Yeah, I'm glad he's somewhere else. Um, Second pick, I'm torn.
I feel like I set up an obvious one for you.
Torn. I'm torn. I, I know if I don't take him here, you're gonna take him, so I have to take him. I got to go with the best player in the world. I got to go with
Yeah.
Jokic.
I
I have
feel
to
like
go
I
with
set you
Jokic.
up on that one.
A four seed Nikola. I know if I don't take it, you're taking him, and now you have two dark horses in the West. I can't let you have Denver, so I'm gonna go Denver. Um, Again, I don't like firing your one of the best coaches in the league literally 2 weeks before the season ends. I don't like that, believe it or not. I don't
No.
like it. I don't like their lack of bench. I don't like trusting Russell Westbrook in any type of playoff game. I
Don't call
don't
him
like
Westbrook.
I don't like Jamal Murray one game playing like he's an all-star and one game playing like he should be a 10th man. So there's a lot of things I don't like. But you know what I do like, Carter? Do you know
What
what
do
I
you
do
like?
like? I like Nikola Jokic. And I like
I
him a
like him
lot.
too.
I like him a whole lot. And he's a guy that is going to go down. I mean, what he's done this season, if I had an MVP vote, which I don't know if you know this, I don't have one this year.
Not this
But
year?
I don't have it this year. Maybe next year. Hopefully you guys can spread the word. I want an MVP vote next year. But the dude's insane. His numbers are insane. If the Denver doesn't have Jokic, they are not in maybe even the playing game. I mean,
Totally.
he's had to do everything. His stats is his best statistical season I think he's ever had. He's had what 60-point triple doubles.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
and,
he's
and
had
he's
a
going to average
he
a
had,
triple double this year.
I mean, I have to take him, and I think you have to vote him MVP. I mean, I have I know the whole thing is like I'm tired of voting for him, but what we're seeing for him is legendary. And if anything else, I'm going to be rooting for him, just because it's just fun watching him play, and I want to watch him as much as I can while he's in his
Well, and
prime.
no shade on SGA, but can you imagine if Jokic had the supporting cast that SGA had? I mean, yeah, do you not think that he would win whatever? How many games did they win? 60, 68, or whatever
80.
they won this year? Yeah. Yeah, you don't think Jokic could have done that? So I'm with you, man.
And I know, yeah, it's tough. That Clippers series is gonna be tough. I don't like it for Denver, but if there's anyone who can do it, Jokic can do it. So taking my man, my fan crush, what he does with his footwork, what he does, every time the ball's in his hands, you're getting a good possession. Every single time he has the ball in his hands,
Totally.
every single. So in the playoffs, when the things slow down for him, he's gonna be tough out. So I'm taking Denver. So I got Minnesota, OKC, Pacers, and Denver. You
Yep.
have Celtics, Players, Clippers, Knicks.
Yes, indeed.
You're up.
Uh, sometimes we try to make things a little too complicated, and we shouldn't. And there's still a one seed hanging out on the board. So
Now that's who I was torn between. I was either gonna pick Denver or yep, this pick.
you got to go with the Cavaliers.
Yep.
Everyone is kind of discounting them because yes, the Celtics it seemingly have played it perfectly where they rested a lot of their players this year. They cruised into getting the second seed. They look all healthy, gearing up for the playoffs, etc. Um, but the Celtic or the Cavs have had a magical year this year. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, he's become the franchise player that the Cavs didn't really ever dream, I don't think, of that they would have when they traded for him. But I know that the Jazz were hoping they were going to get. You've got Evan Mobley, who what second team, maybe third team All NBA kind of player. I mean,
Yep.
he is such a talent. He's such a difference maker on the defensive end. You've got Jared Allen, one of the dudes you don't need to run any plays for him. He's going to hustle. He's going to get his double doubles. He's going to block a couple shots. He's going to play really good D, and he's going to shoot at a high percentage for you. Then you've got, I mean, Darius Garland, and they made such a good move. They know your team at the trade deadline. I mean, they made such a good move to grab DeAndre Hunter, another kind of 3 and D guy, be able to really firm up the bench. And frankly, I mean, DeAndre Hunter can play crunch time depending on the game, depending on the matchups. I mean, he's one of those guys where he's plug and play, and just depending on the situation, it may be him out there instead of one of the other guys. So I mean, I think the Cavs should pretty easily beat. whoever they end up playing out of the play-in. I'm even trying to see. I mean, I, I mean, I guess the Magic are like are kind of well, the Magic beat the Hawks, then they won't even play. And then the Bulls, I mean, the perpetual 8-9 middling team, and and the Hawks and the Heat, I just don't even think have any stuff. So they should cruise in the first round. And then whoever they play out of the Pacers and the Bucks, they'll definitely be favored. Um, and I mean, I think they match up pretty well. Frankly, with either of them. If they need to go big, if say Giannis and the Bucks win, they have two defenders who can really kind of match up at least size wise with him. And then they can score with the best of them. I think they have the number one offensive efficiency in the league. And I mean, that's what the Pacers do. The Pacers they want to run, they want to get out there, they just want to outscore you. And so I think the Cavs can match up with either team, frankly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think that the round two will be as much of a pushover as as say their first round matchup. But I do think they can still comfortably cruise into an Eastern Conference clash with presumably the Celtics. And anything can happen. I mean, like you even mentioned earlier, right? The Pacers were, a couple bounces, a couple different calls away from upsetting the Celtics last year, and why not the Cavs? Why not a team that everyone has said, "Hey, nice regular season." And granted, they did limp into the playoffs. I think they went 8-8 down the stretch. That doesn't bode super well, but they have bulletin board material sitting right there. And if I'm Kenny Atkinson, I'm using all of it. I'm using every single one, every single piece of that. I'm whispering in Donovan Mitchell's ear all day about this. And you know
Mm.
what? Why
Whisper.
not them, man? Whispering, yes, soft nothings,
Whisper it
sweet
in his ear,
nothings.
baby. Whisper it. Keep giving him
Why
dirty
not?
nothings. Keep giving
Dirty
him dirty
nothings.
nothings.
So
I love
I'm just saying the Cavs. I mean, especially what pick is this? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, 11. That's the 11th pick. I mean, hey, you can. There are many worse picks than the 11th pick to get the number one seed. So that's who I'm going
Yeah,
with
I
there.
mean, talk about value. You're taking the best, the second best team in basketball, this late. I mean, it's a great pick. Um, Great pick. Nothing really said. The fancy stat nerds would love your team right now. You have four of the six teams that were top six in their both respective conferences in points per game and opponents' points per game. And I think in terms of the net rating, you have one, two, three, four. You have four teams in the top 10 in the net rating. The Cavs, Celtics, Clippers, Knicks. So yeah, I like it.
And this is the year for it,
So
man. I mean, you saw the March Madness Final Four.
yep,
That was the
yep.
top Ken Pom type teams. We're just going. We're with the stat nerds nowadays. We just go with all the
I love
advanced analytics and the top teams. So.
I love it. Well, we're gonna move a little bit faster here as we get nailed down. I'll take the Bucks.
Oh, are
I
you
think for
skipping
what's
my
that
pick?
Pacers.
Are you skipping my second pick?
Wait, oh, you have a second pick.
I have a
Oh, how
second
dare
pick.
I? I
Looks like
tried
I'll
gypping you out of a pick, man.
looks like I'll take the
You sure
Bucks
you
for
want
every
to take them?
reason.
You sure
Looks
you
like
want to
I'll take
take
the
them?
Bucks for every reason you were going to take the Bucks.
All
Giannis
right.
could potentially drag his team through. I mean, they're like you were saying, they're favored, I think, in this matchup. Drag his team to winning, and who knows, man? He is a top. He's been a top three player, I think, in the league for the last 5 years or so. And so he could potentially put the team on his big broad shoulders, and maybe Dame comes back, has a little bit of Dame time left, and they've had Kevin Porter Jr., man. He's been cooking for him. He's been
He
cooking
has.
for him. So
He
I don't
has.
know. So I don't know, man. So yeah, I think they're, if you look at the board, they just made most sense at this point to take.
Yeah. No, I mean, some might say I was gonna take him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Can't
really
count.
tried. Yeah, I can't count. Yeah, math was never my strong suit. All right, so if you took the Bucks, man, it's gonna be short pickings here now. I mean, I'll take. Oh, oh, no, there's one more interesting team.
There
There's
is. I
one
see
more
him.
interesting team, and I'm gonna take them now. And it's Detroit basketball. Bring it back, baby. Let's go. The bad boys are back.
The Bad Boys are
And
back.
I am taking the Pistons, my blood, my Michigan family. Gonna be rooting hard for the Pistons, and you know what? I like the way they play. They have no friends. They don't care who you
None.
are, where you're from. They don't care what you think of them. They have brought the blue collar back to Detroit, and I love it, and I'm here for it. And if there's anyone that can play in the mud with the Knicks, it's
Well,
Detroit. And this could be, and this could be a series where there's always a breakout star. I think in playoffs, you're like, whoa, okay, this guy took the lead. This guy is now on the scene. This guy's ready. And Cade might be that guy. Cade might be, hey, you guys have forgotten about me. I was the best player in college basketball. I was a top pick. I had an injury. I know we haven't been good, but this is now my city. This is my team, and I'm here too. So I like this. I like this. I like this pick. Honestly, I'm happy where it fell to me here this late as a 6 seed. That's 6 points, and I think Knicks are gettable. As good as they are, I think the Knicks are gettable. And the Pistons have nothing to lose. They're the guy that
yeah,
got like the
man.
last, like no one expected to come to the party. Everyone thought they were out of town. See them next year, but they're here and they're ready to
They're gonna
party.
go
And
down
I'm down.
swinging, literally.
Swiss, great point. They're gonna be swinging for sure. And I'll take a team that's gonna swing on anybody. Um, and so I like this team. As my second pick, I will be going with.
Feels like another obvious one to me.
I'm taking the
I'd be the
Rockets.
only one.
I'm taking the Rockets.
Yeah, I think yeah.
Taking the Rockets. I mean, it's going against, if I have the Warriors, so I guess, whoever comes out of that matchup, it kind of saves me a spot. But I mean, the Rockets are good. They have a great coach, hard-nosed coach who's been there before. Um, Plenty of guys on the perimeter. Loves Şengün on the inside. I believe they are also one of the six teams that are top six in their conference in both points per game and opponents per game. So I'll take another one of those teams. And they play offense, they play defense. They're six in net rating. Yeah, the only thing that concerns me, they lost three in a row in a game they actually tried against the Nuggets, and they
Yeah.
actually like looked like they wanted it. They got stomped. That concerns me. They're young. They've never been here. So there's a lot of things that concern me. We talked about it when my Warriors pick. So, but you got to take them where there's a value as a number 2 seed. So we'll go with the Rockets.
Yeah, that's the right pick. And I mean it's slim pickings with the end. Do I pick
Yep.
do I pick
Now this,
the
this is where it
Orlando?
gets kind of fun.
Do okay, so the question is, do I pick Orlando or Golden State? Because I do, or not
No,
Golden
I
State,
got
or
Golden State.
Memphis, or Memphis. My fault,
Yep.
or Memphis.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, the thing is, like, I think Orlando is gonna get smashed regardless. If they get the seventh or the eighth seed, and well, I think any team that's playing either the Cavs or the Celtics is gonna get smashed. So I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look over at the West Side, and I think the Grizzlies are the only other team. No shade on no shade on the Kings because the Kings, they tried their hardest, and the Mavs, they're just too injured. I mean, without Kyrie, they're toothless. Um,
Talk about the
so
worst, the worst karma rating too right now.
yeah, yeah, totally bad karma, all that stuff. So I got to go with the Grizz. I don't know if I necessarily love their team. I don't love Ja as kind of your main guy, but hey, I mean they still have a good young core. Jaren Jackson's still a defensive presence, can still shoot three, and they like to get a little chippy. They like to get a little chippy with Golden State. You never know what could happen. Uh, these guys are not necessarily friends. I could see them getting into Draymond's grill. So I don't know. Stranger things have happened. They could come out, they could win, and get that. the 7 seed and or yeah, in the 7 seed, and maybe they end up with a matchup with the Rockets, and maybe they've been there. These guys have been there before. It's not too long ago that they were a 2 seed, so I don't know. We're going with the Grizz. Shake it up.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Wait, why am I frozen? Uh-oh.
Yeah, is this me or you?
Hold up. I'm back. Can you hear me?
I can hear. I heard you. I could hear you the entire time.
Okay. Video's
Am I
working now.
frozen or are you frozen? No, that's
Yeah, we're
you.
good. I'll edit this all out. Um, so we are now, so Memphis, I like the pick. I mean, they have depth. Talk about depth. They have a lot of dudes on that team. Um, so as bad as they're playing, if they just put it together and Ja shoots it a little bit better, um, and doesn't get suspended for making more gun gestures like an
Yeah.
idiot. Uh, Talk about not the most self-aware. Um,
Talk about low IQ stuff.
I'm not even gonna get into
But
that.
hey, who
Uh,
said that?
yeah, he's. I mean, if he puts it together, they have a lot of dudes. I like their roster. So who knows? Who
Uh-oh,
knows?
Doug, you
So
freeze on
all
me?
right, here's your pick. Uh-oh.
You pay your internet bill?
Yeah.
You pay your internet?
Can you hear me? Can you
I
hear
can hear
me?
you now. Yeah, you froze on me for a sec.
Okay.
I can hear
Well, let's get this thing. All right, your next two
you. We're
picks.
almost
Oh
done.
no, wait, your other pick. One
I
more
have one
pick.
pick. I have one pick. Uh, I guess one pick. I mean, this doesn't really matter. Whatever. I'm going to pick the Magic, the Orlando Magic. Um, I mean, beginning of the season they were nice, and then something happened to the team, fell apart. Obviously, when
One
Paolo
second.
got
One
hurt.
sec. Hey, Carter,
Yeah, I can hear you.
you were. No one could hear you for a second, so you're gonna have to
No
start
one can hear
over.
me. Can you hear me now?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, maybe it's
You're
my
good.
internet, huh? Hold on. Maybe I'll take this off the
Nope, you're
Wi-Fi.
not good.
All right. Is this better or worse? That looks worse. All right, we're almost done with this. Hold on. Come on, Wi-Fi. Just me or you?
Now I can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay. Maybe that was me the entire
Good.
time.
Yeah, we're good.
Uh, all
Maybe.
right. I mean, I gotta do it. I gotta take the Magic. Lest we forget, beginning of the season they were hot. They looked like an actual playoff team. Paolo was cooking, Franz. They looked like they were good. Then he got injured, and I don't know what happened. They never figured it out again. But they still have a talented young team. Uh, I don't. I mean, I don't really expect them to make any noise, but I expect them to beat the Hawks, who are Hawks. I don't think have beaten anybody over 500 like in the second half of the year. So I at least expect the Magic to get in, and maybe they can find some magic, if you will, and win a series.
Oh,
Probably not. Heyo.
love those
So
puns.
there you go. That's
Love
my
those
pick.
puns. All right, I like it. I'm gonna take the Bulls. I'll take Chicago. They've been playing really well recently. Um, they might be able to squeeze in and give it a go. They're a fun team. They play. They like each other. They like playing with each other. Who knows? Maybe they get hot. They surprise. But I'm taking the Bulls as one of the picks, and then I will be taking. Hmm. I don't think any of the
Any
9 or 10 seeds in the West will beat OKC have any chance. If Atlanta beats Orlando, they're playing the Celtics. If they lose to Orlando but beat Chicago, they're playing the Cleveland. I'll take Atlanta. I'll take the Hawks. Trey Young, he could go all types of crazy. He's done it before. Give me the Hawks.
All
A-Town
right,
down,
there you
baby.
go.
Let's go.
Uh, oh man.
All right.
So do I get? I just basically get both of the last picks. I mean, I don't know if it really matters, right? Or do we split that?
There's three teams left.
Oh, there are three. Oh, Miami. Oh. Uh, I'm just gonna take. I don't. I think Miami is trash. I'd rather have Dallas or Sacramento, so I'm gonna take both of them.
Shoot, you're breaking up again. Breaking
Am
up
I?
again.
Okay. How about now?
Now you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Uh, okay. I think Miami's trash. So I'm gonna take both Dallas and Sacramento. Uh, I don't have faith in either of those teams, but I just don't think Miami is just they are heartless at this point. So yeah, just give me Dallas or in Sacramento.
Dallas and Sac, which leaves me with Heat culture.
Heat culture.
Let's go. Let's go.
Uh,
All
yeah.
right.
What?
So to run it back, my teams are the Warriors, Minnesota Timberwolves, OKC Thunder, Pacers, Denver, Pistons, Rockets, Bulls, Atlanta Heat. You are Celtics, Lakers, Clippers, Knicks, Cleveland, Bucks, Grizzlies, Magic, Sacramento, and Dallas. So let the games begin. Um, yeah, go ahead.
Put a Twitter poll up. See who likes our teams.
That's right. We will put a poll vote. Yes, we will have a poll up on Spotify too and YouTube. So vote who do you think is going to win, who has the best team, and we'll see what happens. And we'll do a probably up another podcast maybe halfway through, and I'll be doing some podcasts on some games through as we go through the first round. If I see anything interesting in some of these series, especially the ones that might go a little bit longer. If we see any game sixes or sevens, it would be cool to try to see what might happen there. Um, but yeah, this will be a fun postseason. I'm excited for it. Any last thoughts, Carter?
Well, we hit our time over under. I think we hit the over. I we ran a little long, taking it back to the big blue days. Now I'm excited, man. This will be a fun playoffs, and I think regardless, I think one of the top teams is going to win. Between the Thunder, the Celtics, the Cavs, I would be surprised if we have too many party crashers, but who knows? I'm excited for just to see what happens with the Thunder because on paper they have an amazing team. They had an amazing season, and are they good enough to get over the hump? Is this kind of the start of a potential dynasty? Maybe it's too early to say that, but feels a little bit like the Golden State. And right when they were kicking off the heyday. Granted, they've already gotten to the top of the mountain in terms of being the number one seed, but they have young talent. So I don't know. Is this the year? Who knows? We also haven't had a back-to-back winner in a while. So can the Celtics do it? Who knows? So I don't know. It'll be fun.
Yes, it will be. Yes, it will be. So we'll be following along. Thanks again, Carter, from joining us from LA, the West Coast, and we'll see if the West Coast is better than the East Coast. We'll see.
It's not.
All right, thanks, Carter.
All right. Thanks, brother.